Welcome Libra, and welcome to the other zodiac signs that felt like this constellation, which exists only once a year, has an inspiration for them as well. When I look at the moon, which is today in your sign, I see Libra behind it, and when I look at the sun, I see Scorpio behind it. This is a fixed sign and you are a cardinal sign, so you begin the fall and Scorpio is the one that is in the center of the fall. And so we can see clearly how he is continuing now this path of, yes, things are absolutely ending here. There is an absoluteness about Scorpio, the death, right? Which is here coming as a skeleton, and a lot of people do not like it, but this is this absolution that a lot of people cannot handle, that this body is gone one day. And so the 8th house of reincarnation is walking in this direction, the direction of the 365 days circle that the earth is spinning around the sun. And we can see that death is coming to all, and the only person that is really greeting it is the high priest. He is here giving the Scorpio the offering of himself, letting him know, yes, I do know that you come for me and I am ready, I am prepared. Now, Scorpio's body part are the sex organs. So there is also la petite mort, the orgasm that we experience for a moment, this stepping out of our own body. And you, my dear Libra, you are the 7th house of partner. And the ruling planet for you is Venus, which is love and money, and the ruling planet for Scorpio is Pluto, which is the judge. So something is speaking to you about, yes, you can judge as much as you want, but you still might be opinionated. This is a much stronger judge because it's really, there is no way out of this, right? Particularly death. The yoga position that I gave Scorpio is the Scorpio pose, putting your feet above your head, so you're not ruled by your ego, but by your intuition. And the yoga position I gave you, my dear Libra, is here squatting out of the hips, because that's your body part, the hips and the bladder. And here you hold yourself in the Namaste in front of your heart, in your own judgment, in your own center, in your own equal day and equal night, equinox. And so you know what it is to achieve something that's almost impossible. No one can hold the balance absolutely in its center. It's impossible. So that's to the major arcana. Your court card is the Queen of Swords. Here you have the water aspect of air, and that's clouds, which happen to half of the card, and above there is a clear sky, like a pale blue, and the bird, only one bird flying above her, and she's the kind of woman that is most likely to stay alone. If your birthday is between September 12 and October 12, this is your court card. To the last reading, where you already had the sun in Scorpio, so you get a second time an inspiration through Scorpio, which means something clearly is ending here. Something really wants to speak to you about this is it. And last time, seeing through the 3x8 portal, your contribution to this world. So 3x8 is the power to know that there is an earth star above you. You had the Justice card, you had the hummingbird, and you had the Strength card. And so clearly you've been advised or being shown that there's a higher consciousness leading us, guiding us, but we are the director. We are the one that is creating the narrative, like the way we take our steps. So the first step that is happening here is on the position of the Fool, the Three of Pentacles. As you can see, he steps into the big cycle, which is the wobble the Earth does, a very slow one, 25,800 years divided through 12 zodiac signs, then gives an age. And currently we are in the age of Pisces. So behind the sun is the age of Pisces. So there's two water signs affecting you right now. And your first step is here, the Three of Pentacles, through the influence of these two signs, which is then letting you know that's Mars in Capricorn. And Mars in Capricorn is building something greater than you could ever build all by yourself. And you're taking that step. You're stepping off the cliff. You're stepping into a spiritual understanding of the number three. The number three is the triangle, a triangle that gives us, first of all the elements. Either it's a triangle or a line through it, right? And with the Earth, it's a triangle and the line through it. A triangle is pointing downwards. And so here you're stepping into this big cycle, Mars in Capricorn, knowing that something here wants to come to you, speak to you in a very strong way. On the position of the Magician. Now, these are state of consciousness, right? The Fool is an idea, is that, oh, I have this idea, so act upon it, right? It's almost like a kind of saying, well, what are you going to do with it now? This is a state of consciousness that's saying, oh, I got this idea, so what am I going to do with it? Am I going to take the necessary steps? I have all four tools on the table, and I have myself in space ruling the upper and the lower world through this higher consciousness of the infinite symbol 8 above my head. And here you get the 8. So clearly this card is saying, well, then act upon it in such a way that it creates a circle. And the circle is here with all these hands, a very clear sign that this is dating really, really far back to a time that we did like paint on walls and paint on in caves. To show the people what we have learned, what we have understood. And so there is a circle coming to you, because 3 is a tribe. 3, right? This is the tribal energy that is coming upon us. And through that tribe, we get then here into this cycle. And it's very interesting. We can create a triangle here. We can create a triangle here. And we also can create a triangle in this way and one in this way. So very clearly there is this, with the 3, then we can all of a sudden create this circle with it. On the position of the High Priestess, which is a state of consciousness that brings the intuition to you. And she's sitting between the black and the white pillar. And she decided to be in the middle. In the center comes the 7 of Cups. Now, you are the 7th house of partner. And the 7 of Cups is speaking here about Venus in Scorpio. So Scorpio is having a little bit of an influence on you, that something is illusionary done, but you maybe don't want to see it. But now, because Venus, which is ruling your planet, right, of love and money, is that you put yourself a little bit into an illusion. And your intuition is knowing that, is telling you that here the illusionary success, or the Lord of illusionary success, is letting you know not one of these lotus flowers are giving these cups water. Nothing is flowing. But you can see that her intuition is flowing like a river, like a waterfall. And you have to realize something, that this is letting you know something is somehow stuck in this illusion. So normally this card, if there are negative energies surrounding it, then it becomes quite a negative energy as well. If not, it can actually just be that you are in a fantasy land, and that you feel like there are promises that have not been fulfilled. Now, on the position of the Empress comes the Star, Les Étoiles, and these are French cards, and Les Étoiles are speaking about you realizing an awakening or giving birth to the state of consciousness that is saying now 8-8, framing the 7. And interesting enough, this is the 8th house. So the 8th house of reincarnation is speaking about, yes, if you connect with the 8, with that infinite symbol of the 8, then you can get out of the 7, which is that illusion, and you can create a portal out of that. You can teleportate yourself, that can bring yourself into another dimension, a higher dimension, because the age of Aquarius is upon us. The spin the Earth does on its own axis, right, of 25,800 years, is from right to left, and that's how I give you your full moon reading. And your full moon reading is always in the month of Aries, which is opposite of you. And so that's when I read from right to left, and you get all 22 major arcanas. Right now you just have 12 of the 22 major arcanas lying here, and on each position I use a different deck out of a different time frame. So it becomes a little bit more richer and deeper, the reading. There is history in it, and that's why I'm doing it, because otherwise it just kind of gets a little bit boring for me, right? I need the challenge. And so here we have like Oswald Wirth, here we have the Hermetic Tarot, here we have the Visconti Sforza Tarot, which is dated back to 1450. This, by the way, 1888 and 1888, France and England. I mean, it's really clear there is something speaking to you with an 8-8 portal framing the 7, which is you. So Scorpio is speaking very strongly to you that, yes, you need to create a circle. Yes, you need to create something that is initiating the new age that is coming in, the new age, where you build a community, where you build a tribe, right? And through that community and that tribe, you are going to bring in the information that is now giving power to all of the people. And we can see she's completely naked. She's not even dressed. She doesn't need anything anymore at this stage. And this is what's going to happen in the age of Aquarius. We are become like a star. We shine like a star. We don't need to hide anymore, right? And it's really true, because through the internet everybody can now become a star through their films, also here through YouTube. Everybody has a way of feeding the bigger picture, right? The subconscious is not anymore here to bring things up that you like feel, okay, that maybe I don't understand why I'm here emotionally a little bit like barren. There's no water flowing. And then comes here the age of Aquarius, and here there are 2 jugs, and she's pouring one into the water and one on earth, and she is creating again the flow of life with the dualities, with the 8 that is in a way the openings here of the 2 jars, creating the number 8 out of the 17. 17, interesting enough, is a prime number. You can only divide it through 1 and itself. It cannot be divided through any other number. And so here, this is a very strong message of 8-8 framing the 7, this barrenness, this feeling of like there's nothing really flowing, there's no success, but the age of Aquarius is bringing it to you. Then you come up, right? You as the court card. I put you always here because then usually comes Aries as the emperor, and we don't really need Aries right now because this is a small reading for you from left to right, the path that we go every day, 365 days a year. And so you know deep down that you are giving birth now to this age, and this age is all about the information. Up here is an air sign. This is the King of Swords, and you're the Queen of Swords, so you're very much connected with the age of Aquarius, but you're a little bit more emotional, more feelings, because you have water inside of you. The King of Swords is air and air. I mean, it's very airy there. It's very dry. And so you bring in quite an emotional side to it. And you realize you have the back to this person. You have your back to her. It's almost like you learned all you need to learn here. And now you're looking forward and you're like, okay, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to really do with this? And then on the position of the Wheel of Fortune comes here tiny triumphs, the number 21, and the tiny triumphs then connects with this 3 again, which is on the position of the Fool. That first idea, that first initiative thought that you had to build a tribe, to build something bigger than you, that you alone cannot create, is then challenged here by this oxymoron, right? The mouse, which is usually small, is big in holding here the falcon or whatever bird it is, right? And so the tiny triumphs are saying, well, look for the tiny triumphs, because he's facing you. He's literally saying, don't you disregard all the little triumphs that you have made so far, because all these little pieces creates the big one. And that's what the 3 does here, because out of the 3 we can then create a triangle, and a triangle, like we can see, is immediately a building. It's like a sacred building. It's the pyramids. It's a building that points upwards or also points downwards. And these tiny things are not that tiny. They are here for you, to help you to build something substantial, because without that we cannot build anything. Then on the position of your card, which is Libra or Justice, right, or the Harmony, comes the Moon. So the Moon in your sign comes the Moon card to you, which is literally saying evolve out of your subconscious, because you realize here the liberation of Aquarius is there's no subconscious anymore. You're free, you liberated yourself, and you are able now to really understand that something major is going to happen in your life, because this second reading of a very big transformation, which is, you cannot change that, right? Death, we cannot change that. We all die. I mean, they're working on it. I'm not sure if they're going to succeed, but let's leave that there. You gotta come out now further on this path again and again out of the subconscious, and you see how the path is passing through the wolf and the dog, the evolution of the wolf, and through the red and the blue tower, which is the masculine and the feminine. And then we have 4 dots here, which is the word Yahweh, right, the Hebrew word for God, and above it sun and moon, in a way, as that consciousness that's behind here, that can shift things and that can make you feel like you make an effort, but still in this effort you gotta learn a little bit more about how to appreciate that, right? Don't think because you're here you appreciate it. Also, this little mouse, whatever effort she did to her life, is appreciated as well. So then on the position of the Hanged Man comes here the Moldavite, right, the number 34, and so there comes a 7. Now here we have the number 18, right, and in a way I calculated together, which then becomes a 9, but we have 3 times the 8 portal here. So very clearly the moon is speaking to you. The moon phases, like me, they speak to me. I do the reading exactly when the moon is in your sign, so I get that information directly, and I'm not coming from my own personal place. I feel that you are being guided very clearly to overcome here Venus in Scorpio, to overcome sometimes a little bit this, oh my God, all this is an illusion. Yes, and it is an illusion, but still we want to take that path. And the path is then here coming down in the form of the Hanged Man, which is a state of consciousness that is a situation that's saying you create this moment, you create an understanding of what I can do, because the judgment, right, on the position of the judgment here, the moon that is coming up to you, speaking directly to you, because this is, the moon is all about these desires and these dreams that we have, and for some reason you feel like you maybe haven't really yet fulfilled your life with the dream you always had. You had a dream and didn't fulfill that, or didn't live that dream. And the Hanged Man is about a change. The Hanged Man is about something that's coming to you and saying something's got to change, something's gonna shift, right? And of course you are all about a decision, right? Particularly the Justice needs to take a decision with that one sword in the hand and with the balance here, and the decision to take the right decision then with the Hanged Man is saying transformation, rebirth through fire, initiation and opening for new experiences, new life and new experiences. I mean, it's very clear that this is definitely challenging you now to go out of a familiar energy, out of that familiar water that you've been in, the Justice, the love and the Venus and all these things that you feel like are coming here, are established in your life. And now you have Scorpio saying there is a huge transformation. You got to see that, and it's coming to you in the number 34, and the number 34 is then coming back to this 777 portal framing the 9, right? There is a completion here, and now here you gotta really let go of something, because if not, other things are not gonna really flourish. You got to let go of this feeling and trust that something new is really wanting to come to you. Something is really wanting to challenge you in a good way, right? Don't think it's bad challenge, right? But there is this, like it said, right? There is this transformation, this rebirth. And this is what the 8th house does. And the 8th house spoke to you already through this circle, and the 8th house already spoke to you through the age of Aquarius. Things are changing, and they're already changing like big time. And so now in the position of Scorpio comes Krishna, and Krishna is playing its flute, and it's the Son of Wands in the east, and this is Sagittarius, and the Sun is moving tomorrow, after tomorrow, into Sagittarius, and we have the new moon and the Sun in Sagittarius. So there is something very profound speaking to you through the month of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is already speaking to you for the next reading, that you are gonna play the flute, that you are gonna play this life again, that you are gonna have a joyous energy coming at you, even though on the position of the moon comes the empty well, time to replenish, right? So it's almost like you're coming out of the water, and it's like so exhausted to come out of this liberation, right? To come out of something that you didn't dare to come out of. And though it's time, it's really time to say, okay, I gotta shift, I gotta change, I'm gonna do a reincarnation, I'm gonna do a new life, right? Because twice to get from Scorpio, a message is like, okay, you have to wake up. And so the well, the empty well, is the number 16. So you have a 7, 7, 7 portal, 3 times 7, and 2 times 8, and 2 times 3, right? And so, yeah, you gotta look deeper into what you gotta let go, because something is empty here, something wants to be refilled, replenished, and you gotta work on letting truly go. And you can see how the fire, the energy is there, and at the same time there's also this blue ice water. And I think you are understanding that you're coming out of something that's quite profound, because the age of Pisces is done. It's almost like we need to come out of this, right? So this well is dried up, and that's also why it's coming out. It's finished. It's done. The path goes up now to a higher consciousness. The path goes up to the star, which is the sun. The sun is a dwarf star, right? So then on the position of the sun speaks here this card to you, which is the fire, the bushfire. So the sun is literally saying, okay, now this is dried up. The well is dried up. There's no water. The water here is not flowing. It's kind of like, it's this illusion, right? But at the same time, you have here this beautiful 8, the circle. Here you have also this 8, the new age speaking to you. And then you have the bushfires and the furies, and you have the well that is empty. And it's almost like something needs to really push you to the brink, where you're like, okay, I gotta come out. I gotta come out. There's no more water here. And here I gotta flee because it's too hot. It's like burning. Everything is finished. And this is where, of course, now here the Scorpio is, right? And this is also where you are, right? On the position of the moon. So now on the position of the moon, we know that we had here this card. And on the position of the sun, of Scorpio, we have this card, right? So there is this very interesting fire and water, or water and fire, these two elements that make the hexagram so powerful, the triangle that I spoke to you about, right? Which is one triangle pointing up and the other triangle pointing down. That's the hexagram. That's the Star of David. It's one of the most holiest symbols ever created, and it's saying, yes, the fire, the triangle that's pointing upwards is the fire, and the triangle that's pointing downwards is the water, is the feminine, and they intersect. And here you have the feminine, right? The well is empty. That's why it's not flowing. It's the 7-7. It's not flowing. Something is not flowing. So that's why you need to transform yourself. That's why you need to move on. It's imminent, right? And then here on the position of the sun comes this. And on the position of the sun is Krishna, which is fire and fire. That's the night of fire. And there is no water, there is no air, there is no earth. There is fire and fire coming at you. So the next month is going to be really intense. And this is what Scorpio is already predicting, because then on the position of the awakening, right? The judgment is the wake-up call, where you are being called, well, no water, so much fire. What are you going to do? You have this card, which is pause. Accept that you must wait and prepare for developments to reach the next stage, the number 27. So there's a pause. We have one butterfly. You almost like, after all this has like pulled on you, right? So this is the desire to go deeper into your subconscious and to learn and to understand. And then here, the desire to have clarity in this life and the why and what is all this about. You got to pause that, right? It's almost saying stop. And that's the 9. So you have now a 9-9 portal. And that's where the moon is calling you, right? The moon is calling you and saying, have a deeper look where you come or where you came from. You coming out of the age of Pisces and you are going into the age of Aquarius. We are shifting big time on this cycle. And most people don't even know about it, that there is a wobble in the earth that's like creating an age. People are laughing at me sometimes, right? This is esoteric bullshit. And I'm like, no, it is not. So pause and see the butterfly and see the flower and see that you want to truly come out. And through this pause, through the 9, you then on the position of the world getting the 3 of Cups. And the 3 of Cups is speaking to you now. A 3. Is there another 3? Hold on. I thought I had another 3. No, there's a 3 portal, because the 3 of Cups is Mercury in Cancer. And Cancer is the healing, is the emotional equivalent now with the 3 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. These are 2 feminine energy, the earth and the water, that makes things grow. And so the tiny efforts, right, of the 21 is literally saying, yeah, once in a while, take a pause and look at all the things that you have been able to create already, and you will continue to create if you truly let go. If you truly let go of the fact that you maybe think and know in your intuition that there is a little bit of an illusion happening. That illusion goes away if you are really letting go of something that is not working anymore and is dried out. The well is empty, right? And then, of course, here the 10, the fire, this new cycle that wants to be happening, right? The 10, the 1, and the 0. And here, of course, with the 9 portal, 9, you coming out and you are realizing for a moment, the moment you're coming out of the water, you gotta for a moment be like, okay, where am I here, right? I was in the water for all my life and now I'm gonna be on land. What am I gonna do? So you have immediately then here the World card giving you here the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Emotions, a beautiful state that says then you can celebrate, you can really truly celebrate, you can create something new, you can be in a new dimension and be successful with the people that you are working with the people that are here, right? Because the tribe is here, the circle is here, and you're gonna literally build something big with these people. And we already have the message that in the next month something quite powerful is speaking to you, right? That the transformation is about into taking actions, is about not putting yourself into this position of like, oh, I'm so small. No, you are what you are, and you coming out, right? And you building something, and then here it is. And then of course also then we celebrate, because when we play flute we also celebrate, we drink, we have a festive time. And that's what's the time of Sagittarius is, right? It's this time before Christmas. We have all these Christmas gatherings and come together and celebrate and have fun, and you are like having that time in the next month. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because you already have the message of Sagittarius coming at you. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.